Formal military dinners are a tradition in all branches of the United States Armed Services. In the Air Force and Navy, it is the dining in. In the Army, the regimental dinner. In the Marine Corps and Coast Guard, mess night. And in the United States Space Force, they suck food paste out of this tube, like this. Delicious. The dining in and out represent the most formal aspects of Air Force social life. Many of our customs, traditions, and procedures are traceable to the earliest warriors. The dining in is one such military tradition that has its roots in the shadows of antiquity. The pre-Christian Roman legions probably began the dining in tradition. Roman military commanders frequently held banquets to honor individuals and military units. These gatherings were victory celebrations where past facts were remembered and booty of recent conquests paraded. In the pioneer era of military aviation, the late General H. Hap Arnold is reported to have held famous parties called wingdings at March Field in 1933, inaugurating the first Air Force dining out. Now that we have discussed the origins of the dining in and out, let's learn what they are for. The dining in is an occasion for all members of a unit or detachment to meet socially at a formal military function. It enhances esprit de corps, lightens the load of demanding day-to-day work, gives the commander an opportunity to meet socially with subordinates, and enables the military members of all ranks to create bonds of friendship and better working relations through an atmosphere of fellowship. A dining in is only for military members of a unit or detachment. A dining out is a similar event, but personal and official guests such as spouses, friends, and featured speakers are invited. And finally, a combat dining in or out is where the rules and formalities are relaxed, and things get a bit rowdy. I apologize, I did not expect it to be that rowdy. Now we will discuss some of the traditions and rules involved in a dining out. Please note that there are many variations of these traditions and rules, and what is described here may not be exactly the same as at your local unit. The attire at a dining out or inn is formal. Officers will wear the mess dress, a tuxedo-like military uniform that somehow seems to get smaller each time you wear it. Enlisted members and cadets will wear the mess dress, or the semi-formal uniform, which is the same as the Air Force service dress, but without a name tag or hat, and with a white shirt instead of the normal blue one. Civilian guests will wear a tuxedo or dark suit, and ladies will wear a formal dress or gown of some kind. The key players in a dining out are the president of the mess. The president is normally the commander of the organization and has overall responsibility for the event. In ROTC, this may be the cadet wing commander or detachment commander. Next, the vice commander is normally the youngest officer at the mess. Well, not quite that young. That's more like it. The success of the evening hinges largely on the imagination and wit of this individual, as they plan and execute the event and are generally also the master of ceremonies or host of the evening. The arrangements officer plans the details of the event to include the food, venue, and decorations. The escort officers receive civilian guests and escort them to the event location, as well as educate them on the rules of the mess. Finally, the guest speaker, normally an experienced military officer, will deliver a rousing speech during the event. The mess has many traditional rules, which are usually written in the printed program for the evening. We will describe some of them here. The rules of the mess are designed to conform to tradition and promote levity. Violators of the rules are subject to the wrath and mischievousness of Mr. or Madam Vice. Thou shalt make every effort to meet all guests. Sorry, introverts. Thou shalt participate in all toasts, and make sure thy glass is always charged when toasting. Thou shalt consume thy meal in a manner becoming gentle persons. Indubitably. Thou shalt not laugh at ridiculously funny comments unless the president first shows approval by laughing. Thou shalt express thy approval by tapping thy spoon on the table. Clapping of thy hands will not be tolerated. And finally, thou shalt enjoy thyself to the fullest. Finally, what happens if you violate the rules of the mess? Well, of course, there must be a punishment. There are several stories as to the history of the grog. However, the most accepted is that it is an old British custom. Admiral Edward Vernon used to dilute the daily ration of rum given to each of his sailors with water. He usually wore a grogram cloak, and was therefore nicknamed Old Grog by his crew. As a result of this, the ration of rum became known as grog. Grog is normally contained in a porcelain throne, and there are leaded and unleaded versions, meaning they do or do not contain alcohol, respectively. Occasionally, part of the ceremony is creating the grog, with each ingredient added being accompanied by a story or rhyme. For instance, the AS-100 or freshman class may be represented by baby food, as they are the youngest in the detachment, whereas the super seniors may be represented by prune juice to keep them regular. The procedure to drink from the grog bowl is as follows. Salute the president of the mess. Take a cup of grog and perform a facing movement to face the mess. Toast the mess by shouting, "To the mess!" Drain the contents of the cup without removing it from the lips. Then place it inverted on the head, signifying it is empty. Perform another facing movement to face the president. Again salute the president, dispose of the cup, and return to the seat. This concludes our educational film on the tradition of the Air Force dining in and out. Have a great Air Force Day.
Blue nose, to beat the weird chord. Lord, 1, 2,